Hi, I'm William Stout. I'm the production designer for the film. This is my first film as production designer. We shot Return of the Living Dead from 1982 to 1983, and it was released in 1984. This is the Unita Warehouse, which was an actual artist loft down in downtown Los Angeles. However, the interiors were all shot in a warehouse in Burbank. The warehouse was our production offices, and within the rest of the warehouse, we built our sound stages. I'm going to introduce the cast who's sitting here. We'll start with Don Calfa. Don?
Yeah. Right here. What? Talk. I'm not in this scene. Do I have to talk?
Okay.
That's Don Calfa. He plays Ernie Kaltenbrunner in the film, but he's not in this scene.
Okay. Next we have...
I'm Linnea Quigley. I play Trash, and it's just a fantasy.
I'm Brian Peck, and I play Scuzz, the punk dude with the mohawk.
I'm Beverly Randolph, and I play Tina.
And I'm Alan Troutman. I'm the Tar Man.
Suppose you think that's pretty tough, but no, that's...
And none of us here were in this scene.
That's right. Yeah.
But it was a great set, Bill.
Oh, thanks. The shooting schedule for this was, I just consulted with Brian, and it was less than 2 months.
Yeah. Now, in this scene, he describes where the skeletons come from India. All of the facts in the film are real.
Yeah, actually, I bought skeletons from India through the Carolina Biological Supply House until, well, they don't sell them anymore.
Tony Gardner, who was one of the makeup effects artists on the film, who was actually a friend of mine from college. We were students together at USC. I was into the skeletons, and he bought me a really cool human skull, which is still sitting on a desk in my office at home that was from India as well.
Jimmy Carron says at one point, and look at this, they all have perfect teeth. And he said, I don't know why, but I think the fact is that a lot of them are young people.
Yeah.
No sugar.
In fact, for my girlfriend for Christmas, I bought her a fetal skeleton.
Oh, you are a romantic, Bill.
Are you still together?
No.
How do you
That explains
how do you
it.
prepare that?
I just ordered it from the Carolina Biological Supply House. So, Don, how did you get cast in the film?
How did I get cast? It was a regular casting call. I don't remember much. My agent apparently got me the script. I knew a lot about it, and I knew what I wanted to do with it. It was more than just sides, and I really loved the script. And I went in character. Bill, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I had I think maybe a jumpsuit or a running suit or something, and the earphones. Of course, he was listening to When the Ponzas Go Rolling Along, Ernie, and I was listening to like The Cure. So I was boogieing all over the room.
I'll tell you what really impressed me, Don, is I was there that day you came in, and I remember it looked like you were going to get the part, but there was the expression on Dan's face, and you caught it right away. He says, You said, what is it? What's wrong? And Dan was really hesitant to say anything, but he said, your mustache. Because you had this beautiful, big, full mustache. And without even hesitating, you said, it's off. And I just admired the integrity of that.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Here come the lovely group of punkers.
Oh, and here's my brief screen appearance. I am the alcoholic lying on the sidewalk that they step over.
Yeah, there's Bill Stout up against the wall.
Goodness.
And Brian did a great bit of improvisation there and tossed me a dime, and I still have that dime.
Do you really?
No.
I want that back. That was my salary for that week on this film.
I love this wardrobe. Look at that. It's very unique.
This graffiti wall was somewhere, I believe it was on San Fernando Road.
It was downtown. It was not a nice neighborhood. Yeah, I loved my hair.
Mm-hmm.
That was real. That was the real deal.
You had to go through that for like months and months and months being in that mohawk.
That's a good time having a mohawk. Back in 1984, if you had a mohawk, people didn't treat you all that well.
And that was my Carolina Biological Supply catalog.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my. Who's the naked lady on the right side above Tom's head? Is that just a?
Oh, isn't it like an African American woman, like black and white 8x10 photo, and she's like nude on the wall.
She's nude, yeah.
Yeah, I've never known who that was.
And some of the stuff that's hanging in the room we actually got from the Carolina Biological Supply, one of which gave Dan the idea for the split dog.
Oh, wow.
It's an actual chart of a split dog. You can
Oh,
see
yeah,
it
there
right
it is.
behind Tom.
See the naked woman under his chin?
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's Bill's girlfriend that he gave the fetal skeleton to.
Oh, very funny. Very funny. And she took off.
You know the sign that says something about Bert being a...
A slave driver and a, yeah.
I get so many calls on that. People ask
so
me
do
all
I.
the time.
Isn't it an eye chart?
Yes, the
Yeah.
eye chart.
I wrote it and I couldn't remember what I wrote.
Oh, that's a big deal to the fans that
Well,
are
it says,
the
yeah,
intense
yeah,
fans.
Bert is a slave driver and then it gets
A
cheap son of a bitch, right?
Something like that, yeah. I've had people study that for like months and go, is this what it says? Check and see, would you? And I go, I have no idea. I have no idea.
I love in this scene too, our Joel, the DP, just the way he just like pans into the faces and everything. It just builds up that
it's just that
suspense when
slow
he's telling him
dolly
the
in.
story and everything. That's my favorite part of the scene, just the way they just pan in and
Yeah.
The eye chart says Bert is a slave driver and a cheap son of a bitch who's got you and me here.
I love it. Finally.
There you go.
Thank you, Bill.
There you have it.
Yay.
Let's talk about Tom and Jimmy behind their backs.
Yeah, they can't hear us, right?
Hey, well, Jimmy Karen, for me, is one of the neatest guys I've ever worked with in my life. He's not only just a thorough professional and a fantastic actor, but he would even show up on the days that he wasn't shooting just to keep the spirit of you guys all pumped up.
Exactly.
I really admired that.
He's such a good guy, and you will see on this disc his on-camera interview, and we were just hanging out with him, and he's still.
Although he failed to mention me in his interview.
Oh,
And
is that
so
what he said?
I had promised not to mention him in this, but it's too late
Oh, it's
now.
too late now. Well, we won't speak of him ever again.
Yeah.
No, he's such a great guy, and he's still to this day so energetic and so full of life and so funny and working all the time.
Work all
well
the time.
dressed. My
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
Yeah, I worked with him again on Invaders from Mars, the remake.
Oh, right.
That Dan O'Bannon scripted.
I came out and visited the set. Those really, really cool sets you designed of the alien spaceship.
That was so much fun. Linnea, how did you get cast?
I got cast through, I had worked with this casting director before where I did Silent Night, Deadly Night, and she called me in because, from what I heard, the film had stopped. They had already cast Trash. And so I came in and auditioned and surprisingly got called back again to do the dance and the Do You Ever Fantasize scene. And I had to do it for the casting director. I had to do it for
Did you have
Dan.
to do the dance naked for the casting director?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, I had to take off my clothes. I had I went down to a bikini. It wasn't naked. So it was like it was for the producer, the director, which was Dan, and Stancy Stokes, the casting director, and had to do that scene. And luckily, I got the part. And at the time, it was called Legs in the script, and then they changed it to Trash, because I found out the original girl that was cast got pregnant during the interim.
I remember that.
And thank God she got pregnant because I got the part. I was like so happy.
Oh, don't hit those. Don't hit those barrels.
canisters.
No. That's trioxin. Come on, guys. And cue the credits. I always thought it was kind of cool that the credits come in when they do. It's a really unusual
Yes.
timing for opening credits on a movie. Either they're all at the beginning or all at the end.
There's my logo.
That's a great logo.
That's your logo for sure.
A la
Oh,
Ralph
yes.
Steadman.
Yeah, the Hunter S. Thompson font.
I remember you guys sitting in the art room all the time, and I remember one time, Dan, we were working in the warehouse, so we'd been on the film quite a long time at that point, and he came in and threw a cup at somebody because they were making noise.
Yeah.
Dan? Gentle Dan?
Dan threw something at someone?
So Brian, how did you get this role?
I danced naked as well for Dan O'Bannon and the casting director, and that was that.
Did you wear a bikini bottom?
I didn't. No, it was a sort of a lavender thong. No, actually, it was very interesting because a good friend of mine, who I had worked with in the other cult classic Last American Virgin, was up for the role of Tina. She did not get cast, obviously.
Thank
But
goodness.
she was telling me about the movie because I'm a big, horror. Bill Stout. I'm a big horror geek, and I love zombie movies. And she said, "Oh, you'd love this movie." And she passed along the script for me to read. I read it, called my agents, and said, "You got to get me in on this movie because I would love to do it." And because I played a nerd in Last American Virgin, my agents only ever sent me out for nerd roles, and he didn't think I was capable of playing a punk rocker, and so he wouldn't send me out on it. He flat out refused to. So I asked my friend who was going in on a callback to pass my picture and resume along to Stanzi Stokes, which she did. She called me in for an audition and then callback, blah, 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 and I ended up getting the role, and then still had to pay my agent 10%, even though he refused to send me in on it.
Let that be a lesson to all those young people out
I
there.
know.
They've
You
got
gotta
to
go
work for
push-
themselves. Don't trust your agent.
Yeah, I know, you got to push for it.
Say,
So
Bill,
So this is San Diego,
I was just going to ask
but
you
actually
where...
we shot it in Palos Verdes.
Okay.
This was a private home that we rented. I remember that the cameras, their wheels ruined the hardwood floors of this home.
that was the first day of shooting.
Yeah. And then and I had made a sign outside in Spanish. It was Spanish for Blue Thunder because Dan had written Blue Thunder.
And then didn't the other side say Dark Star in Spanish?
Oh, yes, it
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
That's right. And
Why
then
in Spanish?
this is the actual because this was a Spanish-style house in San Diego.
I
We wanted
gotcha.
to evoke San Diego. Jonathan Terry there is actually one of the best friends of my wife, who was an actress at the time, and she recommended John for this role.
Was it Colonel Glover or Colonel Grover? I think it was Grover because
Colonel Bleep.
I think it was Colonel Grover because there was
Colonel
Bert
Glover. Colonel Glover.
Oh, it was Glover. I thought there was Bert, Ernie, and Grover in this one.
She just passed on, Catherine Cordell. She was an English actress.
What are you talking about?
His wife.
The woman who plays
Oh,
his
she
wife.
did.
general's
Oh
wife.
no.
Yeah.
I love that red. Did you paint that, or was that already
No,
there?
that was already there.
Wow,
That's red.
that's
is red.
intense. I love it.
The Colonel's wife has excellent taste.
Yeah.
Yes. And makes a pot
Did you
roast.
design that cabinet, Bill?
Yes, I did actually. And Jonathan was also in Cutter's Way.
Nerve-wracking to live around that equipment all
Look
the
at that lovely mural on their wall.
That mural's fantastic. Those are really expensive murals.
I know. That's all hand painted, isn't it?
It's hand silkscreen.
Oh, okay.
When will you find them?
Suddenly we're on HGTV discussing the interiors. And look
I know.
at the fabric on those terrific dining chairs.
So Beverly, how did you get cast?
The same way. I went through Stanzi Stokes. I got the call from my agent to go meet with Stanzi and Reed, and I passed that. And oh, here comes a great scene. And moved on to a meeting with Dan, and then went to a screen test. And I remember doing this scene so well.
There's my comic book,
Wow.
Weird Trips.
Yeah, that's a comic book that Bill designed, and it was sitting on his desk in the art department. And I had no lines in this scene, and I wanted to come up with something to do other than just sit there like a, mute punk rocker. So I decided to give myself an activity, and
I like that.
stole that comic book off of Bill's desk. And
Say,
Now, ironically, it's got Ed Gein on the cover, and Ed Gein died during the shooting of this film.
wow.
oh, that's right.
Dan and I had a moment
Now-
of silence for old Ed.
Now, Bill, haven't people approached you that had come from Louisville and said, "I know where that street is. I know where that building is"?
Oh yeah, all different parts of the film. When I make appearances at Louisville because I'm a regular guest at Wonderfest there, and since the film takes place in Louisville, most people assume it was actually shot there, which it wasn't. But I have people coming up to me from Louisville saying, I know just where that is. I know that building. I know where you shot that.
We get that
Amazing.
at conventions a lot too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they definitely know where it is.
There we go. This is a cul-de-sac, downtown Los Angeles. There's actually nothing behind these gates.
Railroad tracks.
That's right, the railroad track
Yeah,
is there.
and if you look carefully, you can see the train go by through the bottom of the gate.
I just
really?
remember when we shot the scene. It was during the summer. It was in July, and it was really, really hot. And Mark Venturini and I got so sunburned on our heads because
they were shaved.
Well, this was like our first day of shooting or second day.
It
of
was our
shooting.
first day.
It was our first day, and we had just had our heads freshly shaved, and I was peeling scalp off of my head. It got so sunburned.
Do you remember the first day we drove with the in the van and they were driving down the wrong side of the street? Do you guys remember that? And we all started hollering, "Oh my gosh, we're on the wrong side of the
why were they
street."
Why
doing
were
that?
we in a van?
Being transported to the location.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Do you remember? And it was like this panic. You're on the wrong side of the road. You're on the wrong because there was a car coming.
So they just stepped through the gates into the cemetery. The cemetery was not downtown Los Angeles. That was in Olive Grove in Sylmar.
It was such a cool set. It was huge.
It was cool. We used tons of Spanish moss.
Nobody believes it's on Olive Grove. They all think it's a cemetery.
Oh, no.
Everybody.
We rented every single tombstone that Universal had. So we were using the tombstones from Frankenstein and Dracula and all the stuff. And then I designed special ones for the show as well that we added to it because Dan wanted it to look really packed and crowded with tombstones.
It did.
I remember this set, and I remember it being at the warehouse, and it was just great. You'd walk in, look at this warehouse, and it looked just like a warehouse, and then you turn the corner and see this set, and it was just the eeriest feeling because it just felt you were just someplace else, which I know is what it's supposed to do, but this was a great set to be standing on.
It also looked, you did such a good job making it look grungy
Yeah.
and dilapidated. I remember standing in that set and being like, ooh, don't touch anything, it's dirty.
Yeah,
But it
you
wasn't.
can
It was
smell
just,
it.
You know.
Oh, the best compliment I got was actually from Don Calfa, who had just visited the attic set that I designed. We had just built, and he said he was sitting in there, and suddenly he was like, "Ew, I better not touch anything because there's all this dust here, and there might be spiders." And then you realize, well, wait a minute, the dust is not even real, and there ain't going to be spiders because it's just a set. But for a moment, he was convinced.
Yeah.
Did you bring some
it
wet
smelled
wipes?
real musty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, and I remember the smoke they used
Ooh.
really did stink. It smelled terrible. And that warehouse would just fill up with that smoke. And just,
You had to have black nostrils.
yeah, him spraying the Lysol actually, I think, really did help.
Yeah, I like that.
This was all shot in Burbank, and it was a facility that had an office building up front, a 2-story office building, then had a couple of warehouses attached. And we basically turned the whole thing into like a little mini motion picture studio.
Yeah, it was great. It was so convenient for me because I could go from my desk as production designer and walk a few feet and be right on set, make sure everything was going well.
Well, right, the set they're in right here, the warehouse set, there was a flight of stairs, which you may or may not see. It's actually part of the set. And it went up to our dressing rooms and where we ate lunch and did makeup.
Oh, there's the split dog.
There it is.
Tony Gardner built that split dog, and Tony and I were both behind the racks operating it with
I was
cables.
there too. It was the three of us. I was making it breathe. I was the other weirdo that would come in on my days. It would come in on my days off, and help out doing whatever I could do.
I think the butterflies are coming up, and
Yeah.
I just love the fluttering butterflies.
Oh, thanks. I got a big butterfly book, and I cut out all the butterflies and stuck pins through them and made like a little butterfly collection to hang in the warehouse. And then once all the dead things start coming back alive, I was behind camera with a book fanning the butterflies to make the wings flutter.
I always wondered how you did that. This,
Look at that.
Is it over
yep,
yet?
I love that. It's over.
Okay.
Don't you
Are
can
you
look
not
again.
watching?
I never have seen that scene.
Do you
Which scene?
remember?
The
No.
split dog?
I can't stand to watch it.
Linnea, that's so ironic. I closed my eyes during all your naked scenes.
Oh, wow. I know you had a little bit to do with a split dog, but I just can't take it.
Wait, do you remember this guy running around naked? Do you remember that?
Oh,
All
yes.
painted yellow with the
poor
little
guy.
net on
the
his
poor
sprinkler.
yellow man.
Oh, the
Yes.
yellow man, yeah.
Yeah.
On his sprinkler.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Oh, yeah.
For the folks at home, Beverly Randolph is the character of Tina.
Yes,
And she
yes.
will not curse or say any naughty words. So
No.
thus his
His personal belongings.
yes.
Is that-
Now I remember, I thought as an actor reading the script that this was a real straightforward, scary horror zombie movie.
Me too.
And that's the way I approached my performance, which I think ultimately was the correct choice.
Oh, absolutely.
But I can remember on days like this and later subsequent scenes being up in the lunchroom and hearing Jimmy Caron giving this performance and thinking, wow, that's a little broad. And he knew better than any of us. He's great.
Linnea, do you remember what music was actually playing when you do your dance?
Yeah, it was Vanity. Vanity
Don't
song.
sing
What was
it.
that big song that
don't
was
sing it.
that she did at that time? Nasty Girl.
Oh,
Nasty
Nasty
Girl.
Girl.
I remember that real well.
Now I have a question for Linnea. Was weird for you to do all this nudity, or you at the time you seemed really comfortable with it? Was it difficult, or were you just really comfortable with it?
No, it was difficult. It was difficult. It's difficult anytime you take off your clothes, I think, unless you're a total exhibitionist.
Right.
And,
You seem so relaxed.
well, that's because I was scared to death.
Oh. And how,
I had to be relaxed.
we were shooting in the summer. How cold was it? Do you remember?
Well, no, it was. Okay, this night at the cemetery was hot
This was
and
hot.
humid,
This
actually.
was humid,
I
yeah.
remember it was hot and humid. But I was frozen with the rain machines at night. Every night we had those rain machines, which was most of the time with my scenes. I was frozen
by the way,
at night.
quickly, I still have a scar on my hand from some of that molten road flare dripping on my hand during the scene.
That made me so dizzy because that sulfur was going right up into my nostrils. Oh, I see a scar.
That scar, that's from molten road flare dripping on my hand while you're dancing
And
naked.
and notice when you see Linnea's front, how seamless that is.
That's right, and it's a Barbie doll appliance,
Yeah.
I think.
A
Yeah, I
vaginal
remember you
plug.
Yeah. Ha ha.
There's Clu Gulager, the lovely and talented Clu Gulager.
Yes.
Star of Greenlight.
He walks everywhere. Does everybody know that? He walks all over from
Yeah, he lives in-
Hollywood,
he lives in
to
Hollywood.
the Valley all the time. He must walk probably 20 miles a day.
Why?
He's always at the American Cinematheque. A lot of the screenings at the American Cinematheque. Yeah.
Why does he walk so much?
I don't know. He just
Probably
does.
keep in shape. God,
Yeah.
he
He is
looks
in good shape.
fantastic, and he's such a good actor.
He should ride a horse.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah, I meant, through the streets and stuff.
I grew up watching him riding a horse.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Now, I remember this part of Bert.
Yeah.
We started shooting with it not having been cast. There was talk of Leslie Nielsen at one point. That fell through. Then there was real strong talk of it being Robert Webber, who was in a lot of Blake Edwards films. And we started shooting not knowing who was going to play Bert. And Clu got cast very, very last minute, and I think got cast and started the next day.
Wow.
Yeah, I love some of the improv these guys were doing when they're when the yellow guy comes out and they finally do tackle him and get him down on the ground. I remember at one point Clu yelling, "Mount him! Mount him!" It's like, where did that come from?
That's a whole different movie.
That's the horse riding coming out, I guess. huh?
Yeah. We hope.
That was
Yes.
Return,
We hope.
Return of the
Brokeback Mountain.
Return of the Necrophilic Dead.
Oh man. So Alan, how did you get cast as Trout? Or as Troutman?
As Troutman.
As Tarman.
Troutman's another movie.
Your parents cast you as Troutman. How did you get cast as Tarman?
No one will be seated during the terrifying spawning sequence.
No, I got cast the same way everybody else did. I know they were looking for somebody who was really tall and skinny.
Right.
Because they wanted the Tarman to look like it was nothing but skin and bones, and it had to be applied, obviously, outside of my body. And I think at the time I was about 155 pounds. I was 6'2". So the casting call went out, and me and a bunch of other skinny guys answered it, I suppose. And the audition was basically, the scene down in the basement with the winch. Mm-hmm. And I remember Dan telling me that he wanted to see the creature thinking. They didn't want it just to be a dumb, brainless zombie.
Smart of Dan.
Yeah. And then the walking, obviously he told me what the requirements were, that he was supposed to be like almost falling apart. And I just came up with some kind of a feeling that in my body that if I, moved a little too far, he would just snap in half. And it was sort of like this balancing act. And that's how I came up with the
Yeah, you
with the
walked as
movement.
though your bones weren't connected. It was just
Yeah.
amazing.
Dislocation. It was, yeah.
So you were naked under the tar?
No, actually, the well,
Only
I guess
you. You're the only one
Have a
living.
running theme with this movie.
it was a
Suit.
yeah, it was a suit.
Now this is a scene where that effect of the headless yellow corpse guy was an effect created by our original makeup effects artist, who did not last the entire production.
No.
And Kenny Myers came in and really
Saved the day.
Saved the day. And this sequence in particular, we went back and shot a bunch of inserts with Kenny Myers much improved effects, which sort of helped save the scene.
Yeah, the problem was that, well, one of the many problems was Bill Munns had not looked at the storyboards for shooting the scene, and he had built this whole thing backwards.
Oh, really?
He built it left to right instead of right to left,
Right.
Oh my God.
so it wasn't usable.
There was makeup issues too with Bill Munns for
A
me.
lot.
And hair. We had some big issues as
You
girls.
did?
I
Y- oh,
did.
y- what?
They took me to Bill Munns' home to dye my hair, and it was two little ladies who
I
did it.
remember that.
And my hair was running afterwards.
I
and
remember
I got
that.
in trouble for not having a solid hair color.
I remember that your hair was always being done again and again and again.
We were supposed to see what Clue was seeing here, but we couldn't afford to build it. I designed it as a miniature, and so we just have him describing what he's seeing. Yep, the light's still on.
Hey, it works.
It works.
It works. Well, my hair, I had always considered, that I was probably going to shave my hair into a mohawk because it just would look more real, and if I was going to be out in the rain, it wouldn't be a makeup issue. And I really made the decision when Bill Munns did a makeup test on me and put this bald cap on me like you would buy at Hollywood Toy. It was like looked like a bathing cap that Esther Williams would have worn back in 1942. And then he glued some green crepe hair on my head, and it looked so terrible. I'm like, I'll be shaving my head. There's that.
Good, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a lot of these things we had to take into our own hands and speak up and
Yeah.
say, no, no, no. I kept begging for someone to do our makeup properly because it didn't look right.
Well, I remember Graham came when I was getting my makeup done or something. And
Graham Henderson, the
Graham
producer.
Henderson, who is the producer, and I loved Graham, but I remember he came by and said, if we didn't have to get that wig for you, you would be saving $1,000. I was like, and they wanted me to shave off my eyebrows, and I was like, no, I can't. They might not grow back,
Well, my costume, they kept dressing me very much like Suicide. For the wardrobe fittings, I was sort of like mini Suicide, and I wanted to look really different than him. So honestly, the costume was stuff I went out and bought at a thrift store because I wanted to look more like a mod, with the trench coat and the buttons, more sort of a British mod
Yeah.
punk look, just to
You
give it
did
a different
good.
look. Thanks.
You're welcome. I did the same thing with my outfit. Miguel had on those Guess pants one day, and I don't know if he had the shirt on as well. But I go, oh my goodness, this is what I want to look like. This is what I want Tina to look like. Because they had me in some dreadful clothing. And I can't remember who gave the approval for it, but then Miguel actually went down to Guess and bought my wardrobe for me.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
There's
Yes.
Don Calfa, Don Calfa.
Now,
Cool.
this gentleman was actually a thin man. That's a whole prosthetic chest that was put on him. And it's pretty difficult playing dead with your eyes closed and people touching you. And it's
And you're
now I
blowing
put
on
my
it.
hand over there because every time I dusted his eyes fluttered. So I covered the right side just now with my gloved hand.
You're a
because-
smart man.
Yeah, he blinked every time.
Yeah.
Don, did you create a backstory for this character knowing that he was German?
Not really, to tell you the truth.
Because
No.
I know you brought in lots of great little
Well,
artifacts and stuff
yeah.
that we used as set dressing and props for the film.
It's right there.
Yeah.
There's Hitler. Goebbels looking over Hitler's shoulder in a Saturday morning. What is it? The Saturday Evening Post cover.
And I think there's a picture of Ava Braun up
A-
there.
from the color film by Hoffman. A still from the film. There she is up
Yeah,
in
there
the
she
upper
is.
left.
So there's sort of an indication that Ernie might have some Nazi roots.
Absolutely, same name, and just but not a neo-Nazi, but maybe somebody that's a bit proud of his heritage.
Don, do you have any of your wardrobe, or did you save anything from the
Nothing.
movie?
No,
Okay.
because what do you do with a pair of pants with one leg missing? you know.
Get a really big public storage unit like I have and just cram all of it in there.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Don, now
This is all factual. Talking about breaking out the rigor mortis, and then
Yeah.
when Tom is dying, and I said, "Boy, this is not good." I said, "It's blood pooling," which the blood. People often say, "Oh, I just want to die in bed." Well, you hope you don't die face down, because the blood pools up. Gravity.
I think that's what disturbed a lot of people on this film is they did sense that we were telling the truth on a lot of things, like of
Oh, yeah.
the knowledge of doing the getting out the rigor mortis, and that freaked people out more than just seeing a dead body
Oh, and Dan and
being
I really.
embalmed.
Dan gave me a mason jar filled with pellets that was sprayed gold. And he said, this would be up there in the attic with you. And I said, what's that? He said, the gold fillings that you pull from people's teeth.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Dan and I did a lot of research on mortuaries and crematoriums and
Oh, God.
mortuary labs. So this is all from notes that I took from. They wouldn't allow me to take photographs, but I had loads of sketches of these places so that would be accurate. And this is actually what you would see inside a typical mortuary.
Well, it's all
Did
the
you
details
go
that make it
in them?
believable.
Oh, we not only
When they
went
had
in
people
them.
in there?
Oh, they showed us the bodies burning
They showed you that? How could
while
you
they
see
were
that?
burning.
How could you
They
see
would
them?
open up the oven door and let us look inside while they were burning.
Does it take a long time?
Yeah, they burn them for I think about an hour or two to make sure that they really get burnt. As Don says in the film, the heart.
It's a
That's
fact.
the truth.
That's an absolute
That's the
fact.
truth?
Two different people spoke to me about that. One is a mortician fan at Borders, and he, oh, you in Return of the Living Dead? Yeah. And he said, yeah, I'm a part-time mortician. I said, well, I'm told that it's true that the heart is the hardest. He said, well, you can do it, but you got to give it extra time, and half the time they don't.
Oh.
Does anyone remember what was actually in these bags wiggling around? I do. Yeah.
I do.
Yep.
Okay. What was it?
The little monkey guys without the symbols.
clapping monkey.
Yeah, those battery-operated monkeys with the symbols.
They took the symbols.
They took the symbols off, and so those are monkeys trying desperately to clang their symbols
Unbelievable.
inside.
Forget CGI.
I know. This is what I love, is that we came up with so many cheap, rudimentary solutions to a
We
problem.
had to. Our budget was $1.5 million.
But I think some of those choices we made still hold up and work better
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
than
they do.
throwing a bunch of CGI money at stuff,
Yes.
Well, you could do it all live and get the actual real responses and reactions from the actors live on set.
Now, Dawn, you had some hair trauma too, because
Oh.
remember the three? It was you.
Never came back.
It was you.
died it 3 times in 3 weeks. Never came back. Wow.
It was you and I and Mark Venturini went and got our. I got the mohawk. Mark got the head shave with the X, and you got yours bleached.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, Dan was really a piece of work. he was a bit difficult, but I got along good with him, and I figured when in doubt, do the director, and he had a Louisville accent, and that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Oh, man.
I wish us girls could have gotten our hair done together.
I know.
We had to suffer on our own.
Well, I had to go down to Attila, who was the punk guy who
That's who did
cut,
my hair, yeah.
cut his hair, and I actually have a photo of it, the test that they did, and I kind of made him say that my hair wouldn't stand up being cut because I didn't want to get it cut, but it was the truth because my hair's fine, and with the color and everything, with all the rain, it would have gone, all flat, so the wig did work better. So $1,000 was well spent, Graham. Okay.
$1,000 for your wig.
That's what I was told, but I don't know. If that,
Such a big liar.
I know.
Guilt.
I believed it. I'm like, oh God, maybe I should cut
And
my
and thank God he's a liar, because if he wasn't a liar, I wouldn't have been production designer for the film, because Bernie Wrightson was Dan's first choice.
Oh.
And I was the second choice, and Dan looked at the list and quickly did his homework and found out that I had a lot of film credits already.
Yeah.
And so he thought, well, I want the guy who's already worked in film. I don't want to train somebody new. And so he lied to Dan and told him that Bernie wasn't available or didn't want to do it, and just called me directly and negotiated with me and signed me.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
That scene that they just had between Miguel and Beverly, I don't know if you remember this, Beverly, in the script, that's Scuzz. It's not Spider.
Oh, you're
Those are
kidding.
Scuzz's lines.
Yeah.
And like right before we were about to shoot the scene, Dan goes, "Oh, I'm having Miguel do that."
Wow.
Yeah, I'm still bitter and in therapy to this day over not getting to be in that scene.
In that scene, I'm bitter because my hair had faded then. And so my hair goes from brown to black to green and orange. So
I remember the ash stages.
yeah, it's just. And I remember when we were standing back there and you guys had me stand behind the gate and come out. I was back there by myself. I was so scared. And they're like, okay, go ahead. And then finally they said, you want somebody back there with you? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be nice.
Oh, jeez. the Wicked Witch of the West would be there.
Yeah, I was scared.
Those signs on the fence have the names of my studio mates at the time, Richard Hescox and Dave Stevens.
Now, I've always wondered, Bill, why is Bert's name spelled with an E on this sign and with a U
'Cause I was in
on
a-
the eye chart?
I was in a hurry. Fill
That's a good
fill that
answer.
setup.
I love the honesty.
You may be right. I don't know, but I did it. So what are we going to do about it, Ernie?
I love Tom and Jimmy getting paler and sweatier.
Yeah,
and
this is
sicker.
one of my other favorite scenes is coming up with the paramedics. That's just so funny.
It's yeah.
It's just a really, really funny scene. And they're looking so ill, you'd think someone would notice.
One of the
But-
things that ends up, I think, actually working about this movie is there's so many scenes that just play out in long master shots without coverage. And I remember at the time we were shooting it as an actor, of course, you know, you want your close-ups. And we would shoot these long master shots, and I would think, okay, great, now we're going to come in for our close-ups. And Dan would be like, okay, cut print, moving on.
No.
And I'd think, where's our close-up? And, you know, and I thought it was just going to end up being kind of chintzy, but it really ends up,
No, it plays.
it
way
plays
better.
great.
It's
Yeah.
John Ford style
Yeah,
direction.
it's like the old movies. You
Lock-
see the interplay
lock the
between
camera, let the actors do the work.
Yeah, you
Comedy
really see the-
especially always plays better in the two
Yeah.
shots and the
Yeah.
masters.
Oh,
that's so cool looking.
And that really looks like a crematorium.
Yeah,
the-
that,
the
that
na-
was. I combined all the features from all the crematorium doors that I saw to make the one scariest door I could come up with.
Yeah.
Oh,
And when we were looking into crematoriums and researching them, they would leave us alone sometimes, and we found this little box full of little brown paper bags, and each one had little names on it: Baby Andy, Baby Susie, and it was. And Dan goes, "Well, what's that?" And he opened it up. Oh, it's the ashes of babies. And he said, "Well, we might as well see what this looks like." And he dumped one on the sink. And I was just horrified. And he said, "Oh, looks like vermiculite."
Oh my God.
And then he kind of quickly scooped it back into the bag because he heard somebody coming and then put it back.
now you designed the furnace. Were you aware when Dan? This is the furnace company says Geiler and Hill
Oh yeah,
furnace.
those are the two guys who
Yeah.
tried to steal Dan's credit for Alien from him.
Walter Hill and David Geiler.
Yeah.
Now, is this room where they're sitting there waiting? Was that like a half round room? It looked almost half round.
It's a round
Or
room,
round
yeah.
room.
Yeah,
round room.
Why is that?
It's oval, the room.
Oval? Why?
Yeah.
Why did you choose that shape?
For variety's sake.
Okay.
I don't like a feeling of sameness from room to room. I like each room to be its own sort of little domain. And Jules did a great thing with the lighting in that we used the overhanging cage light, and then he illuminated that so that when the guys were sitting in there, it would look like there were bars, looked like they were in jail.
That's really cool.
I love that room though.
No, I love that
Shape
room
of
too,
it
and I
the-
thought,
yeah.
oh, this is good.
I
Here
thought
we
it had something
go.
to do with coffins or having to.
This is where all the all hell breaks loose.
That's right. Everything goes bad now.
Yeah, this scene coming up was designed and shot after principal shooting.
Was this done by Fantasy 2? Was the effects company?
No, this.
a different one?
Let's see. No, we just. Let's see. I hired a guy who does fake rock to build the underground thing and the coffin and we put in some dummy shoes and socks and legs and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then we built it as it laid down flat, so it wasn't really a vertical like you see in the film, like it's going to go down. We laid it down flat so that the camera could scan from above and look like it was going up or going down. I like the way you wipe the water off.
I know. What was I thinking?
You were wet.
Just little.
This was really wet.
That was a wet day. I remember
Yeah.
when we were trying to get out of the car, I stepped on one of the microphones, like the ones that
The
you know, have
wireless
the teeth,
mic.
the wireless
Yeah.
mics, and I got it in my foot, and I'm like, I gotta keep going.
Oh.
Well, it got to the point where I remember the water down on the floor filled up, and I mean, it was like halfway up our calves.
Yes.
I mean, we just had our feet down in like
That's right, we
yeah,
did.
fish tanks,
Yes,
and you were, well, naked.
naked, yes, except with leg warmers.
And look, we're sitting next together again.
Yes,
Now.
with your scar from the fumes that you had sulfur at me.
One of my favorite observations was during the rain scene and watching the special effects guys setting up the rain machines and stuff. Robert Howland, my art director, said it's like watching the Three Stooges build the pyramids.
Oh,
I remember
Yeah.
the guys who did the physical effects on the movie was like a father and his son's best friend. And
From North Carolina
they
or
were
something.
so fun. They really
and the
did.
father kept whacking him in the head.
Yeah, and they yelling at him and cussing, and they really, and the dad had a huge pot belly. They really ran around like the Three Stooges.
Yeah, right.
I love this.
Yeah, that's the ant farm view.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a great view.
Twitch.
Ooh.
I heard they have to witness when they cremate somebody. Is that true? Do you know, Bill?
Nope.
No witness? Or you don't know?
As well, God, they were just so loose, and
Yeah.
I think they just put them in and burn them. But the one of the places we went to, they would burn 3 bodies at a time to save money.
Oh,
And then just divide
Together?
up. Then yep, which is illegal, and just divide up the ashes.
Absolutely.
Oh,
God, that's
God.
Yeah.
I learned more than I ever wanted to know about that
See,
business.
I think it would give you nightmares. It would give me nightmares.
And and this is the weirdest thing, every single place, every single one. It didn't matter what place we went to. We visited like 6 or 7 of these places. As we were leaving, walking back to the car, as Dan and I were going back to the car, one of the employees would come running out, and he'd pull us aside, and he said, "I just got to tell somebody they're having sex with the corpses in there."
What?
I
Every
believe
single
it.
place.
Oh, no.
I believe it.
Nobody can die, ever.
Poor Anna Nicole. Oops.
Yeah, when I was in one place, the owner said, "Oh, you never seen a dead body? Here, let me show you." And he just popped this lid open. There was this old lady laying there.
I would
thought,
freak
how
out.
disrespectful.
That is. I don't think I want to die.
I'm glad I didn't have to do that research.
I just want to be cremated, get it over with.
Jim's
Don't let me-
Karen does great
Me too,
retching.
that they'll have sex
Yeah,
with
oh, he does.
Even when in the lab when he was he's
King of the Wretch.
Oh no,
Oh, he's so dramatic here.
Oh no, he was great. I mean, every take he always went 150%.
yeah.
It's just watching this makes me feel like I'm nauseous, and
Doesn't this feel like yesterday watching this?
it really does.
Yes.
It's kind of frightening.
Golly.
That's creepy.
mean
Do you
it
remember shooting everything twice?
Yes, because the
Because
TV
we
version.
shot the TV version. We even
Yeah.
had different jacket for Tom there.
The
Now-
FU
I don't
version.
remember
This is
that.
another German thing that's hard to see, but there by Don's pelvic region is a German helmet with the spike on top.
Yeah.
And then it has like bills and memos stuck on the
Oh,
spike.
that's
and
the
the gun,
amazing
and the gun.
Criswell in the background, sitting up in a casket.
Oh, that's great.
I worked with Criswell's son, who is now a special effects guy, who refuses to have any publicity for himself on any film that he works on because of the connection with his father,
Wow.
which is kind of weird.
Criswell was in
the
all
old
those
man was kind
Ed
of
Wood
weird
movies.
too.
That's bizarre.
Now, coming up, a lot of people don't seem to know this. I actually have a dual role in this movie.
How?
The
He plays the car.
Yeah, I'm the car. I'm the car. I'm sitting in myself. No, the zombie that crawls up out of the ground here. We're gonna see in a second
that's
is
a
me.
nice
Cool.
thing.
That's me.
You got out of the car,
hey.
did the scene, and went back in the car.
I'm reacting
Wow.
to myself.
That's some trivia I didn't know.
No, it was that stuff we shot up at Kenny Meyer's makeup lab up in Valencia. This is me right here. And Kenny,
Awesome.
Kenny called me and said, "Hey, do you want to come be the zombie that crawls out of the ground?" And I said, "Sure." And that little bit of hair you see is the little bit of hair that was growing back after I shaved off my mohawk.
And there you are, back in the car again.
Yeah,
You're like a magician.
making you really wet.
Yes. You're right. Uh-oh, she's looking for a boyfriend.
Shh, don't talk over me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh, she's turned into something else.
No, those were real bones there, real skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, some were real, some weren't. We also had breakaway skeletons as well.
Okay, shh, shh. This is me.
Oh my God, this is so this is so creepy.
What?
And then I remember Dan was really pissed that I didn't put another handrail along the wall.
Why?
So do you want
Really?
actors to kill themselves going down these stairs?
Yes,
He
he
did.
I was so bruised from this. I was black and blue because I have to tell you, running back up through this, I want to tell you quickly because we're getting to Tarman, but he didn't tell me that we were going to go and do the run up the stairs and fall through.
The
And he
breakaway.
told everyone, don't tell Beverly, let's bring her back and we're going to pretend like we're rehearsing it.
God, you could have broken your leg.
Oh, I'm surprised I didn't. I was black and blue.
I saw her, it's true.
I was like almost in tears thinking, I'm hating this.
I get what he wanted, your natural reaction to
He
the
went-
stair
yeah.
breaking.
Yeah.
But they used a stunt woman afterwards.
And then they
so-
used yeah. I think he was just getting even with me. He just wanted to see me go through.
Oh, look who's there.
Uh-oh.
Psycho,
Alex.
psycho
I love
shot.
Ta-da! Hey, there's my tongue.
Your
That's
tongue
about
looks
all you can
healthy.
see of me.
Here it is.
That was
Ow.
mean.
But when I did it, I went right through. There was
Yeah.
no hanging there. It was like drop.
They should have
Huh.
used the scene.
Yeah, because
at
you
least.
didn't know it was going to happen. At least the stunt person knew.
And this was the first scene. We did this, and then I went back again, and I ran through and fell through all the way. Maybe that was part of
Ooh, look at the movement of Tarzan.
I know, it's amazing.
Especially because, there's no shoes on that thing, and I'm all slimed up. I could barely stand up
Oh, I bet.
with all the slime on my feet.
it. What they slime you with? Do you know?
I don't know, it's just that
KY.
goopy
It's
stuff.
KY jelly.
It was actually called Methicil,
Yeah, that's what it is.
and it's what goes inside of a jelly donut. So if you ever eat a jelly donut, that's not really strawberry or whatever. That's Methicil that's
Really?
been
But it tastes so
flavored.
good.
Okay, so never die, never eat jelly donuts.
We're learning a lot today.
And you're having sex with
Corpses.
Yeah.
jelly donuts.
Ew.
Well, that's fine. They got a hole.
Tarman's wrapping the chain around those doors. Those doors, we ended up making duplicate doors out of lead so that they could bend easily.
Really?
Yeah, I remember someone standing back there with like a 2x4 pressing on the doors.
You'll see when I come out from behind the thing and bite him, I'm sliding all over the place. I could just barely stand up during this.
All these years we gave Alan credit for being a great mime. He was just trying to stand up.
Linnea, your bum is so cute in this.
I was like, I finally got like a piece of clothing. I'm like trying to wrap it around myself.
Well, but now watch.
Oh yeah, he is sliding. Look at
see,
him.
I'm sliding all over the place.
But now watch, when Linnea runs up, the one little piece of clothing she has on
Yeah.
sticks to the railing and comes off because Dan wanted it to come off.
I'm
I know.
sure.
I know. I've tried to like save clothing when I'm
So
running
watch,
through the
look.
graveyard. And then
So
I
there it
got
is,
the-
and it's stuck to the.
like,
Oh,
shit,
sorry.
I got
Oh, there's your bum again.
I know.
That's it for Mark Santorini.
Yeah. It's like that was sad. It's like he died already. Suicide was cool.
Oh man,
Now this is a great scene.
a lot of Spanish
Look
moms.
at that. I was just going to say, look
There's a
at all
lot of
that
Spanish-
moss.
It's
Bill.
great, but it's great though because it gives it such a Southern Gothic feeling, and it's Sylmar, California. Now this was cool because one of these paramedics, the blonde guy, that one right there,
Drew.
that was
Drew
Drew.
was a stand-in.
Drew Deegan.
Drew Deegan.
We could only afford 2 stand-ins on this movie, one male and one female. And Leslie was the female stand-in, and Drew was the male stand-in. And the actor who had been hired to play that role was a friend of the executive producers.
Right, I
And
think
he
he
was-
maybe contributed money to the film.
Oh, is that what it was?
So he was promised an on-screen
yeah,
appearance,
and he was not.
he was awful.
He was terrible. And he would flap his, every time he said a line, he would use his hands like a deranged Italian.
and flapped them.
Wait a minute.
And at one point, Dan said, "Put your hands in your pockets and do the lines." So the guy did, and then so Dan said, "Okay, roll." And the guy started doing the lines, and he pulled his hands out of his pocket and started
Yeah.
waving them again.
Well, first he
That
flapped
the
his
gentleman that's on screen now?
no,
he was replaced.
The gentleman on screen now replaced that guy.
The
Because-
dark-haired guy.
No,
No,
this
no, no.
guy,
The blonde
Drew
guy.
was
No, the
terrific.
blonde guy,
Drew was
Drew.
fantastic.
Drew was just our stand-in,
great.
and so Dan just said, "Drew, get over here. You're now playing paramedic number 1." And he said, and he told the actor,
wow.
"Sorry,
This is a
give him your
chilling-
costume." And Drew is so good in this scene.
Oh, and it made a huge difference in the other guy's performance
Yeah.
because
Oh,
the
yeah.
first guy was dragging the fellow
Yeah.
with the black hair
Yeah.
down.
This is a remarkable scene. It really is.
I love this.
It
Yeah,
is
it's a-
absolutely
Me too.
chilling.
That's why
Well,
I
look
say
at,
that's
and
one
I
of
love
my
Drew
favorite scenes.
when look there, and then kind of hides it from Clue because it's not a good temperature. I thought he did such a good. I always love stories when like a stand-in gets thrown apart and then they kill it. You know.
Yeah. Where is he now?
I don't know. He was such a nice guy. He was such a good guy.
They all were. Everyone on the crew was so kind.
I had to tell you, for me, it was, because it was summer between my junior and senior year in college, and it was like summer camp for me. I just loved it.
Oh man, Miguel. Okay, who's got Miguel's
Wait,
story?
Well,
I do. Prosthetic piece.
Yes.
Yes, he had a sprinkler prosthetic, a male, what do I say? A prosthetic piece. Remember?
Male member.
an enhancer.
Enhancer.
Yes, it is Yes,
put
down
that
the
Out
ladder.
of here.
Danny had him do it.
Oh, that's a,
yeah.
Oh, really?
That's
God,
a-
you
that's
had
a-
you had yours removed, Linnea, and he had his enhanced.
How was that?
That's
That's
a-
a good gossip one.
Well, I
isn't
just
it?
remember
How did you
about.
find out?
that's a
I
Joshua.
felt it.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I did.
Why did you feel it?
Not like that. Just because you can see it in his. Not like that.
Like
no.
Sixth Sense style?
It was just long. We just kept going.
bumped
What
into
is
it."
that? And he goes, "Oh, Dad made me wear it or something. It's a prosthetic."
Why do you keep
piece."
tripping?
I just remember
Isn't that funny?
almost every time Miguel cusses in the film is not scripted.
Yeah.
He just likes
just
to cuss.
ad libbed, and everything he ad libbed was, you know.
Oh, that's funny. I remember though. You said we were so cold. We were so cold here.
Oh, yeah.
It was terrible.
It was
I'm-
freezing.
Oh.
We're like
Now,
wet and
that mausoleum, Bill. That's built. That's a
Yeah,
set.
that's
Yeah.
constructed. It's all
Oh.
plywood and masonry.
Oh.
Wait, Dan made
That
me
must
do
have been
that
cold.
about 20 times just because. Face down. Do you remember that, Brian?
Yes.
You and Miguel literally had to pick me up here and drag me away because I couldn't do it anymore.
We were happy to drag you away. It was our honor to drag you away.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. Oh, Linnea, this looks miserable.
It was miserable, and I was knowing these overzealous extras are going to be coming after me any moment, and I might not live.
Did they scratch you too? They must
They
have.
didn't scratch me as much as smush me.
Now, who were these zombies in the film? Who came and played the zombies?
Extras, isn't it? Just a bunch of
yeah.
extras.
Why don't we have any of them to talk about the movie?
How would you find them?
There's still extras.
How was it to grab Linnea in the mud?
Oh my God!
God.
Two
wait a
zombies
minute.
have just entered.
That's a couple of friends of mine from the old days.
Wait a minute. I don't know if I'm so.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh my God! They're making their way over to Alan Troutman.
Not Alan.
No, I'm just hanging out with them. They're okay.
You
I'll
know
vouch
them?
for them.
Are you
Okay.
sure?
Yeah, you are one of them, sort of.
Yeah, how you doing, Fred? Good to see you.
I don't think
Charlie's
you better
over here.
trust them.
No, I think they're okay.
I want to read his mind. Don't eat Alan. Alan has no brain.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that.
I'll rummage through for a couple of thoughts. Alan, what's the big idea?
Oh, there goes one right now. Yeah, you got there.
We missed you guys a lot. So good to be back in the arts.
I don't think this is a good thing, Bill.
They really smell. We're trapped in this little sound booth, and they do not smell good.
Who's repping you guys now?
Do you remember that scene just before when we ran into the mortuary? And I slid on the floor, and you stayed in character, and
Yes.
you were going, "Are you all right, Beverly? Are you all right?"
Well, I was actually saying, are you all right,
I mean, Tina, are you all right? And one of the guys on the crew said, "Beverly, are you all right?" And Dan was so upset. Do you remember that?
Well, yeah, because he liked the fact that you slipped. He thought it was real.
Oh, they're
and the fact that
leaving
you sort of like broke character.
Slime trails on the floor.
Alan, are these your friends?
Well, I thought they were my friends, but they're guys. You're crowding me here.
We
Just
have unfinished business.
Watch out, Alan.
What?
Alan,
must be
watch.
Alan's
Will
friends
you
because they're
please
heading
back
towards
off a little
Alan.
bit? That's my.
Something smells
Hey.
good.
Oh, look at all those.
Keep
I know.
that
I'm a
line
smart
to
guy. I
yourself.
got good
Okay,
brains.
no, look,
Time
look
to
out,
eat.
Drew.
You're nibbling on my head there.
Al.
That's my head.
Oh, this is terrible.
Oh, I can see his brains.
Alan has no brain.
This is just too much.
Send more breast. Alan gave
Alan's
me-
brain is really not going to satisfy them. It's like an appetizer.
It gave me heartburn.
Hey, I heard that.
Oh, there.
Alan, are you all right?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Oh, Alan.
Beverly, he is not all right.
He's on the floor with his head open.
And now you're trying to make friends with him, give him cookies and stuff now. Cookies and milk, no.
Maybe it's just fake blood.
This particular scene is
Fake blood.
is
no good.
the
Like a
quintessential
fine wine.
Dan O'Bannon. The scene of us guys in the hallway there. It's terrifying and also funny.
It is funny.
Yeah,
Nobody
it's
knows what
funny
to do.
because of the ensemble playing, but yet it's a lot of information.
Again, we'll come right to your front door to get it. Give me the brains, baby.
Look at, there's the one. He's coming again. He's trying to get in the studio.
I got the munchies for you, Al.
I've only got half a brain
Your
left.
performance was so stiff.
Go chew on somebody else for a while.
This commentary is a lot like our performance in the movie, all talking at the same time. It's very Howard Hawks.
Howard Hawks,
Yeah, it's
yes.
very Howard Hawks.
You remember them rubbing us down with that Fuller's Earth and squirting us with the hoses outside?
Well, that I don't want to talk about what we did afterward.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, it's got his Luger.
No, it's not. It's
Oh, is
it's
that a Luger?
It's a P-38.
Ah.
A Walther.
Come on in. What's the worst that could happen? You're not afraid, are you?
There's another one of those Alan's
Oh
friends.
man, I love this next little zombie coming up.
Oh, this was I remember him auditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is,
Alan.
This is me right here.
And he's eating real brains.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Those are calf brains he's eating.
This guy's name was Jerome, and obviously you can tell he was born, with some defects.
Different.
But
I got to get back to the wrestling matches.
I came on the set. I was just arriving on the set when they were taking him off, and he was green. I swear to God, from eating those brains, he was he'd
poor
been barfing
baby.
and stuff.
he now, and I
A
don't.
lot of cholesterol in those too. I'm still feeling the effect of it.
I mean this sincerely. Jerome, he for years danced on Hollywood Boulevard
Really?
and made money dancing on Hollywood Boulevard.
And you make fun of me and my pal. For shame.
The extras got paid $5 in additional fees if they would eat the calf's brains.
That's right.
Calf brains,
Which wasn't so bad the first day, but by about the third day they started smelling so rank.
Yeah.
Say what you want. That's $7 Canadian.
Was that the extras that smelled rank or the
Those
brains?
calf brains.
Oh.
The French extras
Because we couldn't
ate more
afford to
than
buy
the
new
others.
ones.
Is
There's
that
our
so?
wardrobe.
They kept.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, they kept the same ones.
Sure, kick a guy when he's dead.
Oh, I love the music and everything that
Yes.
happens right here. It really gets it going.
I remember
The
they
beat
asked
up-
us if we wanted earplugs, and I tried to be tough, and I said, no, I don't need earplugs. And then after Don shot that gun, I was like, oh my God, I need earplugs.
Wow.
Yeah. How about us? You didn't ask how me and my buddy were.
I know.
Your eardrums were rotten.
Your ears had fallen off.
Typical
Yeah, look.
narcissistic actors caring about yourself only. Me, my line.
Well, speaking about not caring about the zombies, this scene, as I'm beating the zombie arms with my axe and sledgehammer,
Which
One-
is you guys.
one of the female extras, this right here, after every take would stick her head in and say, could you not hit me in the arm so hard? It hurts. And I would go, it's made out of foam rubber. I don't know what else. She says, well, it hurts. You're hitting my arm too hard. And I said, well, I can't. I got to pretend like, it's heavy. And
Yeah.
I finally just said, well, don't stick your arm in next time.
Stick your head in.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that you got to keep your back elbow up.
I should have eat her arms.
I love this because I literally dreamed, when I wanted to be an actor, it was about
There's another $5.
fighting zombies. So getting to fight zombies
Oyster
crashing
sauce.
through a window, I thought,
This guy's got a great look.
Yeah. Nice interior too, huh? Seats 3.
that's sort of like John Waters as a zombie.
Apparently, there's a UK punk band called Send More Paramedics.
You know,
Ooh, I love it.
This is great. I love this.
See, this is what we do to get away from you
Teamwork.
guys, you zombies.
Brian Pick does an amazing bit of acting there. when
bad
he
time
gets
to drum
grabbed.
circle.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we're
Get
trying
back
to
the
trying to
embalming
act
room.
exhausted there because ostensibly we've just boarded up every window in the place.
Speaking of embalming, how'd we do at the box office?
Bill, did you rent
very
those
well.
caskets or did you have to purchase them? Is there some kind of a funky rule about caskets?
Oh,
Everything
we,
goes, I
we
guess.
rented those. We rented
did?
those. Yeah.
Okay.
With
And we had to
death.
be really careful not to damage them because they were unbelievably expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And then they'd use them on someone else.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or was it a
I'm
set a
sure.
set rental?
Oh,
or was it-
imagine
Who's gonna
if
know?
if your relative got the casket that was used in Return of the Living Dead.
Well, where'd you rent them from? From a mortuary or
Yeah.
from a? Wow, this is interesting. Potty mouth. Miguel and his potty mouth.
That's some more ad-libbing by Miguel. So if he's cussing, he's
Do you see the
ad-libbing.
thing in his pants at our L?
You can't even see it. We can see it, but
Okay.
you can't. I didn't.
You felt it. That's
I
right.
did. It was like, what in the goodness sakes is that?
Send more cocks.
The dead will rise.
That reminds me, I have a tape I have to return.
What tape is that?
Bazombie.
What is it? Bang the zombie slowly.
This looks so. Tom's great in this scene because he
You should
just
take
seems
some
so.
Excedrin.
He's in such pain.
Yeah, yeah.
He seems like he's really stiff.
Well, and I love this cracking sound there. There's
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I can't stand listening to
That was-
rigor mortis.
yeah.
Oh,
I feel like that in the morning.
My old agents, the Rigor Mortis Agency.
You gotta use more sunblock, pal.
Ew.
He looks like the lead singer of Kiss.
Here comes my big dramatic moment. Very. This is.
This is your dramatic.
You know, it looks like rigor mortis is setting in.
How does he speak Greek?
Rigor Mortis.
You're dead.
Brilliant. That is
We
brilliant. That
loved it,
is.
I would
Brian.
never.
Thank you.
I'm a nerd.
Look at
Yeah.
the three of us.
Good.
I just say you're putting a label on something makes you a racist.
Look, the zombie's hands just
I
fell
don't
off.
want
They
to be
can't even
called.
clap.
We don't want to be called zombies anymore.
Okay.
Oh, wait. In this scene, when Clue tells me to hold the doorknob and turn it, he just about broke my hand because that was after Dan. Oh, no, Clue had thrown a vase at Dan.
I saw him do that.
Bill's like, you girls stop telling these stories.
oh man.
No, but I remember.
He did, you know.
And dinner.
Well, now also, now watch the second guy right there. Bam. That guy,
went
that
down hard.
stuntman, went to the hospital.
Really?
Did he?
Yeah, and he had ruptured his spleen hitting the pavement.
Oh,
that
really?
hard. Yeah.
Spleen.
From that fall?
Spleen
Yeah.
ruptured by a zombie.
Spleen.
I told you they were overzealous.
Yeah.
Wasn't just nudity.
But underpaid.
Okay, here comes some
that's what-
amazing Brian Peck work.
I feel a demise coming on.
Oh man.
This is where you.
It's
This is
just-
where you hurt my hand, right
Did
there.
they grab your mohawk? Is that what happened?
No,
Oh,
this
the
is.
wrist.
Oh, this is such totally good acting.
Well, this was all pantomime because
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
it's just this little skeleton thing,
Yeah.
pretending to grab me and bite me. So
And you're having to wrestle with it.
yeah.
Mohawk good.
That's a lot of blood.
And that, well, I had a tube running up my leg and attached to my head, and Dan O'Bannon just said, more blood, more blood. I want it to shoot higher. I want everything covered in blood. And it worked out that way. I had an idea here that Dan actually liked, but we didn't have time for it. And that was, I said, Spider wouldn't just leave me there on the floor. So I wanted him to say, we can't just leave him here, and then them pick me up and put me in one of these coffins, which I thought would be kind of funny. And Dan actually liked the idea, but then he was like, "Oh God, we don't have time to do it."
Well,
you
and
know.
Bill's going, no, my budget, my budget.
And my
Don't
coffins.
drip in the coffin.
I might stain it.
Oh, there she is. Dan made sure that she had really pretty blue eyes.
Yeah, he really wanted her to have blue eyes.
That's my aunt, you pricks.
And what a lovely aunt you have.
Anti-prick.
Talk about yourself all the
That's
time.
the
you
end
actors.
of Scuzz.
Oh, there
Oh,
she
we
is.
miss you already.
So Brian Peck and I and Tony Gardner are underneath the table operating different parts of the half corpse. I was operating the spine and making it pump spinal fluid. What were you doing, Brian?
Well, and
Watching the nipples.
Tony was operating the head movement, and then Tony's assistant, a guy named Scott Ressler, was operating the hands, and I was operating the jaw.
Now you see here.
The mouth, because I had to do the dialogue for the half corpse while operating the mouth, and no one else wanted to do dialogue on set with the actors, and I was like, well, I'll do dialogue. So
Dan kept running in and putting spinal fluid coming out of the tail.
Yeah, and I had a little pump to make this fluid come out.
Oh.
I, I fucked her to life. I fucked the life into her.
Did you know that's Betty Page's grandmother? You can tell by the way she's tied down.
She's got no lips, but she talks really well.
that's
Nice
actually
teeth.
that's actually the corpse of Betty Short, the Black Dahlia. It turns out
She's really short.
No.
It's Joan Rivers without makeup.
that's Joan Rivers with makeup.
Look at that boner.
Boy, the first of many
That's
many
a-
Tony Gardner
that is a
masterpieces.
Dead boner.
Yeah, he's
No, yeah, we mentioned this earlier, but this is the piece Tony did, and Tony did this in under 2 weeks, and only at night. He
Yeah.
built this only moonlighting.
Yeah, Tony was on loan to us from my friend Rick Baker.
I remember it always bothered Tony because he wanted it to be able to blink.
We can't even see you under the table. I'm looking under the table.
It's
I
an
don't.
amazing
Where are
effect.
you?
Hey,
Where are you?
we're under
Behind
the.
the time code.
Hey, I got one of these zombies like getting real close.
I know.
Sorry.
You have
Excuse
lots
me.
of brains. Me getting turned on.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. I don't really.
Smart.
What are you,
Yeah, I don't do-
get
I don't-
friendly with them.
Guys, I don't do zombies.
Keep
okay?
away from Brian.
Show time.
Wait, no, I really.
Oh my God!
Brian's our friend.
Would you get him off?
Could you please not bite my head?
You know, we're
guys
trying to
back
work
off.
here, guys. We're trying to work here.
I don't swing that
Something
way.
bad
all right?
is happening
just,
again.
Spit out 666.
What?
You all right, Brian?
I don't know.
He's not moving.
Bit a
Brian?
hole in my head.
He
Anybody
has got no eyes.
You got a floss? I got thoughts caught between my
look.
teeth.
Wait, I'm sorry, Brian. Hang on, don't die.
What? I'm
Linnea?
hanging in there. Hey, what?
Hang on, look at Linnea's scene right now. We're missing it.
Well,
Can't.
someone turn Brian's body so that he can see the scene.
His eyes aren't.
Here, we'll prop him up so you
Alan,
can see
too.
me, okay?
Oh, now there's a rumor that I play this guy. I don't play this guy. They actually needed an actor for this role.
It's a real guy from Fairfax.
Homeless good.
Okay.
You know, you zombies, we're trying to work here, and you're
You've bitten two. You've killed one of our main characters, and
potty
you've bitten
mouth.
poor
Brian.
Brian.
I swear we came to apologize.
Go, just go.
Please,
This is
we
this is
need
your
it.
exit. You guys need to
Thanks.
leave.
Yes. Wait, let's just look at Leander one more time.
No, just get out of here. Just get out of here. I'll do what I did to him to you.
Guys, I think I saw some brains out in the kitchen.
Now this police department here, that's the art department. We couldn't afford to build another set, so we used the art
That's how I was going
department.
to ask.
If we promise never to do it again, can we stay if we promise never to do it again? Come on, we'll be good.
Guys, I'm dying here, all right? Okay? You know, enough of this. Oh.
Here, let's prop Brian up so we can see the rest of
Yeah, here. Come on, Brian.
We've got Jewel doing her big scene right here. She's
so
actually
full
being
of
sweet and
anguish.
nice, and being nice to Chuck,
That's right, who she hated.
who she hated, who in real life is this hunky guy and
Surfer.
surfer guy. He's sweet.
Well, what I mean is lock him in a room.
Had a wonderful touch. He had high water pants. You saw his socks.
Yeah.
You got to see his socks. I thought that was a great touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing anything to them, for Christ's sake.
Look at James. He's like he's really overacting in this.
Don't you love it?
Makes it. I love it.
Yeah, just love it. Oh,
You just go and do it.
So Linnea, your strange, weird face in that last scene that you were in, that was my first and only sculpting job in film. Dan insisted that I sculpt that face.
Really?
And it took me days. I'm so slow at sculpting. I said, please let Tony sculpt it. And he said, no, I want you to sculpt it.
I didn't know that was your sculpture. And then
And where is
Kenny
that?
applied it, correct?
I sculpted it, and then either Kenny
Someone
or
applied
Tony
it.
finished it and
Finished it.
made the mask out
Made
of it.
the
and
mask
everything.
out of it.
How
It's
is that used in
It's
the
an
film?
excellent.
How is that used in
They
the film?
used it
I'm
actually
missing
in an
something
insert.
here.
Linnea's
You'll
face.
see it again.
Linnea's face when she's.
After
I'm
she's
feeling
been
better.
transformed.
I'm starting to feel
Oh, you're
better.
looking better.
oh, good. We needed you, Brian.
I'm feeling better.
I'm
Blood's
but-
missing
returning to your
Alan.
knees.
Well, I went and I got a cold compress for the gaping hole in my head, and I'm better now.
Good. Maybe we can revive Alan.
Now this is a big scene.
Oh yeah, this is me again. So shush. No. Okay.
We've got some more people
No.
trying to help us.
That
Yeah,
mortuary.
one of these guys is a real cop.
Really?
And we let him improvise some of his lingo so that it would be authentic.
One with the mustache?
I believe.
The other's Dan, isn't
I
it?
think they both have mustaches.
Oh.
They're cops. Come on.
That's right.
Looks like Dan, the passenger one. No way.
But he came up with the line, got a man down, which
Yeah.
is real police parlance.
Now that was that mortuary was also just a set. It was just a facade.
Oh, it's just a facade.
And I
yeah,
remember
in the
what was
or-
so funny.
in the
but-
Olive Grove.
Yeah, what was behind it was cows.
Yeah.
It was a pasture full of cows.
The interior is so pretty though of that
Ew.
mortuary.
And how ironic that the zombies were eating calf brains.
Yeah, exactly. See, there you go.
I love that line.
Yeah.
Shoot your fucking brains out.
Yeah, see, that's real cop lingo. Shoot your fucking brains out.
This guy's cute.
Yeah. It was Civil War costume.
Oh, yeah.
He's cool. He's the one little nod to the Civil War
Yeah.
element of the cemetery.
That guy looked right out of EC Comics with a decaying Confederate suit. And
The ECs were a big design influence on this film. Tales from the Crypt,
Oh,
Haunt
yeah.
of Fear.
Vault
Damn
of War.
roof. I love that. That's where you had the teeth up there, right? The gold teeth you yanked out of the people.
oh, yeah.
Nitric acid pretty much destroy anything.
Yeah, but there's not enough of it, Ernie.
Oh,
Oh
those
boy, are
poor
they
guys.
really going?
They had put Alka-Seltzer tablets in their mouth.
Alka-Seltzer.
Oh, is that how they got the
Yeah.
fold?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I remember Tom spit that in my face, and I was just like, oh, it was so gritty.
Yeah, they
Oh,
just
did you
put
chew it?
You
know
don't
that.
even have to work with the Alka-Seltzer. It just, you put it there and it just foams right out. You don't even have to push it out. It just goes,
I don't usually play with Alka-Seltzer, but
no.
Okay, he's dead now.
Nice kid.
It's great though, because Tom, you really see the switch there in his
Yes.
eyes when he goes from being alive to dead.
And poor Beverly. Oh,
I know.
That's
I
good.
love the slow-mo.
Yeah, that was good. I love doing this because we choreographed it over and over, and
Is this where you
it was.
fell?
No, it was running into the mortuary.
That's right.
man, this looks like a real good place to get hurt, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of stunts that are always more impressive to me than a guy falling off a roof on fire, just like falling backwards over
Yeah.
some church pews. There's no way of doing that
Yeah.
without it being painful.
Oh, I know.
You know, we all got beat up in this movie pretty well.
Yeah, we did.
You think about it.
We
there's
did.
there's the FU version, and then the other jacket said TV version.
Yeah.
Remember that?
It just said
right.
TV version on it. But about halfway through shooting, we gave up on shooting the TV version because it just was. We barely had enough time to make one version, much less two.
No, I had to lay there, and I thought, why don't? Go
Oh,
on.
oh, up in the corner, there's the little big-eyed girl with the tear. It's a black velvet painting owned by my mom.
Oh.
I borrowed it for
Is
the
that that's
set.
one of those like Keen paintings, right?
Yeah,
Those big sad
imitation
eyes.
Keen.
Yes. That's great.
Love it. Why'd you slap him?
He was out,
She's
he
off.
was out of
man.
control.
But did you plan that?
Are you kidding? Don't you know the story?
Let's
Yeah.
hear the story.
Let's hear the story.
Well, yeah, you know, I said, how are we going to work this? Dan said, slap him. And I said, well, no, wait a minute. You know, but Miguel, oh, no. Definitely, it'll be more real. Blah, blah, blah. So I was supposed to only slap him once. And I gave him a double shot. and he really does a take. And he rubbed it. He bled from the nose, and he said to Jules, "Did you get that? Is that on film? You know? Did you get that?" And I don't think it is. I'm not sure, but he really did bleed from the. He loved it.
And you did too.
Well, you know, I didn't really hit him that hard,
Yeah.
but I slapped him.
We had to count how many times he says that in the movie.
That'd be a good
Yeah.
drinking game.
Yeah. Every time Miguel says, you drink.
Yeah.
I think this was the last thing we shot on this set, and Dan gave Tom free reign to said you can destroy anything you want on the set because we won't be in here again.
Yeah, all that beautiful hardwood was actually white pine painted to look like gorgeous hardwood by
Oh,
by
wow.
the painters. They did an amazing job, and they could do it so fast, and you could get right up to it and not know it wasn't real. I mean, they have the wood grain.
I
and
thought it
everything.
was. I thought
Yeah,
It's a
So,
beautiful
unbelievable.
Does anyone have an aspirin? Because this hole in my head is actually starting to ache.
Oh, it's leaking.
set.
Yeah.
Alan's actually moving finally again. How you doing, Alan?
Wow.
I don't know what happened there.
Man, if these guys start looking hungry, though, I'm out of here.
You got to really look into who your friends are, Alan.
Oh, sorry about that. I've never seen him act like that before.
Yeah, they were out of it.
They should have eaten before they got here.
Oh, I'm feeling a lot better now. That's amazing.
Good.
You're pale, though. You're very pale.
But it could have turned into this, and this is no good. That's what I worry about.
Here's a trivia note: the fat zombie is my friend Bob Greenberg, who's the guy who got me into the film business. He got me to my first film, which was Conan the Barbarian.
Which one is the fat zombie?
He's the guy that's walking like Tor Johnson.
Yeah, I was looking for him as well.
I'm looking for him too.
I know.
Did you work in Mexico on Conan?
I worked in Mexico on the second Conan film and in Spain on the first one.
I remember
and as
hearing
well as in
that when I came
Yugoslavia.
on the film. I was like, wow, he worked on Conan.
Drive, guys, drive.
I know. You're always like, you're almost there. Come on, go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
And be careful where you go.
Yeah. Oh man. There we go. Bam.
They made it that far.
Ooh, one take.
Now, there's a little bit of a blooper coming up here where you can clearly see sitting in the passenger seat a camera operator right now. Look in the passenger seat, and he's holding a camera
Right.
with the red blinky light on it.
Damn. You know what? I would have.
And there's someone in the back seat, too. Like
Yes, I
camera.
noticed that.
Yeah.
I didn't really.
Yeah. So watch for that, and then in the scenes where you see the gates of the cemetery, watch for the trains behind the cemetery going through the cemetery.
And we get to see the car blow up. Right?
Well, no, we don't
Well,
actually see it
we
blow
couldn't
up.
afford
No, you
to show the car blowing
No,
up.
no.
Yeah, here
you
we
see
go.
the light through the window.
Yeah. So we
There it
show
is.
the light through
That's
the
our
window.
big car explosion.
Right.
Well, it's so realistic to you that you really thought you saw it. So that,
Yeah, here's Tom. You can destroy the set, so he goes and tries to knock over
How are
everything
you?
possible.
Citizen Kane.
How are you during this, Bill?
Strike the set, Tom.
It's Citizen Kane destroying her room. Dorothy Comingores' room.
This was a scene up here. They said, hurry, get through that quick, go. And this nice, I think it was an electrician, went upstairs and grabbed me and yanked me. It was, don't worry, I'll get you up quick.
Yeah, that's right.
So sweet.
Yeah. Now, in actuality, the attic space was not above that ceiling, but was raised 5 feet off the ground in another room.
Oh, yeah, that was a totally separate set.
that's
Yeah.
right. This song I love. I get really teary-eyed at this scene.
And poor Jimmy. I love that touch of putting the wedding ring.
Oh, yeah.
That was brilliant.
Now, see that goop around his nostrils?
Yeah.
I don't know what that was, but I remember when the makeup people would put that on. And if Jimmy was here, I'm sure he'd remember this. He hated that stuff around his nostrils. He was a total trooper about everything, but for some reason, that goop around his nostrils, he would always go, "Oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate that stuff."
Yeah, this scene is like so. Ooh. It's done so well.
Sizzle, sizzle.
And then his screams.
I know. It's creepy.
I love that oven doorbell because it almost has a face in a weird way. It just
Yeah.
has personality.
Amityville door.
Just so grim. Oh, now the helicopter guy's voice, that's Dan.
Yeah, that's Dan O'Bannon. We have another one of our budget shots coming up, the POV through the helicopter.
Which was what? Just from a crane, right?
Yeah, it was just up on a crane, and it was like some round piece of plastic. That
Absolutely.
yeah,
There
some
it is.
round piece of plastic with some rain on it.
Did you hear there's this thing about there's a whole controversy about fast zombies compared to slow zombies and all that?
This was the first Fast Zombie movie.
Yeah, because we were the first movie to have
Yeah.
zombies that could run and had some
and really
strength.
get to you.
Yeah, I never could understand the terror of the other zombies. Just like my friend Don Gluth said, anybody who can't outrun the mummy deserves to be killed.
It is true because in all the Romero zombie films, they just shuffle and amble so slowly that
I know.
These
you
zombies
get
are
away.
smart, too.
What?
Whoops.
Oh my God, Alan.
What was that?
He's got this spastic thing from being
ever
bit.
since he
Sorry.
got bit, he's
I'm just
not been the
still
same.
gurgling here from my head.
Oh, black and slimy.
Oh, I got my head knocked off in this scene.
Now, Alan, when you get your head knocked off,
That hurt. I know what you're going to ask.
I don't remember exactly. It then became someone shorter in the
Yeah,
suit?
they actually had somebody else. I had been in this suit for like days, and it was like smelly and wet and hot, and so they mimed, essentially knocking my head off, and they cut right at that point.
Right.
They put somebody else who was a head shorter than me in the suit, and I just felt so bad for this guy. I said, I am so sorry. I said to him, this thing really reeks. But
But your dog really liked
But I'm
them.
done.
Yeah.
But I get to go home now.
Don,
Yeah.
can you remind me what the music is that you gave to me up here? Because I couldn't quite.
I'm embarrassed to tell you, it's very corny. It's stuff, but it's music that it gets to anybody.
Yeah.
I had a number of pieces of music. Okay, I had Samuel Barber's.
Adagio.
Oh, please.
Adagio for strings.
Oh, God. They played it all day long when FDR died.
Oh.
And that just wrecks me. I played Mind Games, John Lennon, which is just a beautiful tune. And there were others I'd forgotten, but it was...
Ooh.
And what, Beverly? That
Now
just
we're
helped you to
good.
cry for the scene?
Yeah,
Listening to the
I
music?
got to a
Yeah.
point where I couldn't cry anymore, and
works.
the water wouldn't come out. And Don's here, honey. Listen to this. It'll help you. And boy, did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we
It's an
sat
amazing
on that
piece.
cassette player through the
Yeah.
whole thing. It was
Yeah.
just wonderful.
I gave it to another actress.
No,
one-
you didn't.
No. I made a copy for her.
That was her song.
That was for you and I.
Well,
That was your
That was
moment.
our yeah. Two-timer. No, I'm kidding. But you,
it's music
Not for a
minus
scene,
one.
though.
Music minus tears.
she needed that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made her copy and she just loved it. She said it works.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people think that
That's Dan,
cop
'cause
is
it
Dan
looks like
O'Bannon.
Dan.
It does look a bit like
no,
Dan.
I thought so too. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it does look like Dan.
Well, Dan wasn't that old at the time. Now he looks like that. But, yeah, people always ask me if that's Dan O'Bannon. It is
This
not.
guy looked like a little bit like Thurston Hall. Does anybody remember that face?
Yes.
Oh,
I
yes.
do. I remember having to be naked and all the extras zombies going, "Oh, she's just walking around naked all the time." It's like I couldn't like do anything because it would rub off. I mean, I'm like
This is
having to run barefoot over all this
This is
gravel and
wonderful,
stuff
too.
after the zombie.
Now here comes
head
Linnea's
zombie.
face that Bill sculpted.
That Bill
Ew.
sculpted.
the
yes.
big open mouth right there. Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Ah, with the tongue sticking out.
Yes. Quick but
I
cool.
bought a plaster cast of that on eBay.
Oh, you have one. My gosh.
so that was a mask. I never knew that.
Yeah.
That means they're breaking out of the barricade.
Oh man. So it says
See,
some,
his last moment flipping the phone, and Jim putting the ring on the thing, and our scene where I'm out of Stagecoach, where I'm going to shoot you before. Wonderful signature pieces. The three of the, it just.
Wasn't that attic scene your idea? Didn't
What?
you tell Dan
Yeah.
that I want to shoot her in the head? Like,
Yeah, like from
They-
Stagecoach.
yeah, that was your idea.
Yeah, but he went with that. He thought it was. I intimate.
Here's
that
a bit of
it's-
trivia. That matte painting was painted by Ken Marshall, who is
from a sketch by me.
from a sketch by you,
Yeah.
who's now the famous painter of all the Titanic scenes.
Oh.
He did all the production
Wow.
design
You did a
for the
great
movie
job up for us.
Titanic. Yeah.
I want to know why she's in her robe.
Yeah.
know,
well,
I always
yeah,
wondered
she's,
that, too.
Bothered me forever.
Yeah.
I always wonder that.
that they're incompatible. you know, how do you fumble?
Well, actually, look, he's in his robe too.
Well, no, that's pajamas.
Was that
Monogram
Jammer?
It might be a robe. Though.
When was the tank first
Oh,
crashed?
yeah, it's pajamas. Yeah.
It was an ultimate
Oh, yeah,
either
there's a
separate
button. I
beds
see
or
a button.
bathrobes.
He didn't want to eat the roast beef or whatever it was.
Lamb chops.
Lamb.
Lamb chops. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he had them for lunch.
So that little piggy went home alone.
And what effect did that have?
Now, there's a mirror behind the headboard, and for the longest time, I thought there was a crew member's head poking up behind the headboard, but it's actually the wife.
Yeah.
And at one time, I saw that and thought it was a mistake, but it's a mirror.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to look at that now.
Sorry.
Yeah, they
No,
are.
no.
Don't look at that.
It'll remind us of you.
Erase it from your memory.
And how many acres was
That's
this
funny, though.
place
Yeah,
for?
now I see how it can bother you.
Yes.
Or it would draw you to it.
I remember there was a whole conversation on Return of the Living Dead 2, because John Terry reprised this role in one scene as the
Really?
Colonel. Yeah. And no one could remember whether his last name was Grover or Glover.
Lover.
And they actually came to me and said, Brian, was his last name Grover or Glover? And I said it was Glover. So.
We had just whipped this whole thing together right before shooting, and the hot glue that we used to glue the microphone to the stand wasn't dry. And so as soon as he picked up that, immediately the whole thing began to fall apart. And so you can't see
Yeah,
it.
at the end of the scene, you see it start to peel up. Now, this reverse angle, that's the foyer of the mortuary.
Right.
'Cause you couldn't get that angle at the house, so that was shot later, and you repainted the walls in the foyer of the mortuary.
Are you kidding?
And that little chunk in the front there is to hide the fact that the hot glue is going, it looks like bubble gum coming apart. That was added in post.
And that Tom had beaten up the set.
This was the last day of principal photography. It was funny because he worked the first day of principal photography and the last day of principal photography.
Wow.
Oh, it's weird. These people seem to say they've been waiting for this to happen. They got some sort of.
Well, actually, the very first day of shooting is the guy. We shot this in Angeles.
Oh, this
Crest.
right here, this scene. That's right.
This right here, and the very first day of shooting, I broke my ribs.
Oh,
Ribs.
I walked right in. There was a truck, and it had the forks of the truck were up, and they were at a certain level where they were sort of invisible because they were so thin, and I walked right into them.
Oh.
Is that another one of your comic books, Bill, that's on the dashboard there?
Oh, probably.
220.
That's a miniature built by Fantasy 2.
That's
Really?
a miniature. Wow.
Range 134 miles.
And then they did the stop motion animation that follows here. Right here.
I think that's another part of the appeal of this movie is that it's pretty subversive, and I love the fact that the government, who's supposed to come to your rescue, ultimately is worse than the zombies.
Yeah.
I remember
They're
feeling
willing to
sad.
nuke the entire city.
Right.
That's great.
And Tom had split his head in this
Oh.
scene. The hatch came back and hit him.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
split his head, stitches, blood everywhere. And he had to keep going.
I felt sad doing that scene the last day because I knew it was the last scene. I felt real sad.
Yeah.
These are
I did
miniatures.
too.
Another Fantasy 2 miniature. Yeah.
That's great.
Fantasy 2, we're working on this film and the first Terminator film at the same time.
Here's where you see the
For the same production
here's the
company.
microphone peeling off
Oh,
with
yeah.
the glue
Oh,
stretching. Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Where
this
is
is
that shot?
news footage.
Yeah, I was.
There,
gonna say-
coincidentally, we found out that there actually was some weird sort of big chemical explosion in Louisville, and we used the actual news footage.
Unreal.
Ooh.
It's just
That's
one of those
weird.
happy accidents.
Yeah, happy.
Well, not happy for the people of Louisville, but
Now, Bill, I remember, was this always the way it was originally supposed to end? Because this is like reused footage from earlier, and I seem to recall that there was some other alternative, but
Yeah, that we were all in the second one.
Brian, you remember everything.
well, you do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I don't
It's-
recall. I remember the script always had that nihilistic ending, which
Right.
bothered me.
right.
Because I thought after all this, they should have been rewarded with survival.
Look, it's our names.
Yeah.
Again.
Wait a minute. Let's see what his
It's
name
okay.
is.
You can look.
Colonel Glover.
Colonel Glover. I think we should mention that Mark Venturini, who played Suicide, unfortunately is no longer with us. He's the only cast member I know of that has passed away since we shot
Catherine
this movie.
Cordell.
Right.
Yeah.
But it should be mentioned that Mark, who, played this big, hulking, kind of scary, nasty character, was about the sweetest guy you could ever meet.
Oh,
Absolutely.
super nice
Just a
guy.
sweet, great smile, funny guy, very upbeat, and just a really, really, really sweet guy. And it's
There
so,
he is.
Yeah, and it's so funny. He plays such a big, hulking, mean guy, and he could not have been nicer.
And there's my husband's name, assistant art
Where,
director,
where?
Clayton
Yeah,
Hartley.
there was romance on the set.
Yeah. Lots.
Well, and I ended up dating that half corpse.
Oh, gee.
So would any of you have expected that all these many years later that this film would have been the cult classic that it's become?
No. I thought it was just going to be a cheap horror film.
I felt
Yeah.
at the time that we had a hit, but a cult classic, no. No.
I had a total blast making the movie because I was a fan of this type of movie, but I never guessed in a million years that it would mean so much to so many people. And over 20 years later, people would be so into it. It's great. It's an honor to have been part of a movie that people still feel so strongly about. It's
Well,
great.
I think we should use this opportunity to thank those people, those loyal fans.
Yeah,
Through
absolutely.
all the years who have just shared our passion for the film, and many of them love it even more than we do.
And ironically have kept this film alive.
And email us every day to tell us how much they appreciate what we did in this. And
Or ask me where the warehouse is.
I know we've all made appearances at these various horror conventions.
Yeah.
You know, and the people come up, and I got to tell you, they love this movie.
yeah.
The buildings
Thank you
still
so
exist. I
much.
thought they were torn down.
One of my fans has offered to come over and pick me up and drive me over to where it is because I can't recall where it is, but he
Wait.
says he's found it. So
What is it?
you need a medical building?
I
You
have
might
the
not
address.
come back.
It's
Oh, you
there.
have the address?
Careful.
It's there. I have the address. I've got all the addresses out in my bag.
And also the warehouse that we shot.
That's
That's
in
still
Burbank.
there.
That's
Oh, is it still
801
there?
Main
Wow.
Street.
Hey,
in
can I ask
Burbank.
one of you guys for a ride to the emergency room? Because I really need to get this thing on my head looked at.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you and
I've got a bite
I'll go
I've
with
got to
you,
have
too.
looked
But
at.
you know
too.
what?
I just,
The crew.
I'm starting
we
to
had
itch.
the best crew.
we had the
We
best
had the
crew.
You
greatest
married the crew.
Oh,
You married them. You
Clay Hartley, my
You
assistant
bad
director.
girl.
Unbelievable.
No
guy.
wonder you
Bye,
Dan
Leo.
was mad. You were in the corner kissing with Clayton.
Well, not then.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for
That's
joining
it.
us. We loved having you with us.
Thanks for
Loved it a
watching all
lot.
these
it's
years.
a way of life.
Thanks,
Thank
folks.
you so much, everybody.
Come say hi at the conventions.
And anywhere else we are.
Spread the word.
Don't be cremated or buried either. Don't die.
I never tire of seeing this film.
You're dead.